Hi and welcome to episode 4 of Crazy You, the interactive online writing exercise where you're in control. And in this episode, we're going to focus on You Shall Not Pass! If you've not seen the previous episodes, then check those out first by following the link here. As usual, we're advice aplenty, so stick around to the end of this video to check out our big tip at the end. And thanks to everybody who's made comments and contributions to the series so far. So we looked at the antagonist. In fact, we started with the antagonist because that's where all good stories start. And then we moved on to the world of the story, which in this case were the rules surrounding the circus itself. Although we aren't going into that much detail because in reality, we're not developing the whole story. Shh. And thanks a lot to Eric and Susan for the comments that they made in the previous episode. And because of those comments, we've shifted the antagonist ultimate victim, if you want to call them that, from being Hitler to being somebody also set in the Second World War and being equally as abominable and as deplorable, if that's possible, as Hitler, or even pushing it all the way back to Napoleonic times, with the ultimate victim potentially being Napoleon themselves. I'm actually going to park the debate about which option we are going to move forward, and the reason I'm going to park it is because I want now the requirements of the story with regards to technology. So obviously looking at Napoleonic times, things were a lot more kind of crude, technology wasn't as advanced as the Second World War, and because we are setting this in a circus where there will be some mechanisms and some trickery, I'm going to let the need for that trickery determine where the setting actually is. I hope that makes sense, but for now I'm going to leave it and move on. This is all about advancing the story. So if you remember the diagram that we had before about character, about the world of the story, about the story itself, all kind of interweaving to form this ultimate story development. So I want to keep things nice and loose and nice and open. However, I have taken a bit of a liberty. I've actually given our characters some names. Now, it's probably not the right time to do this because there's a lot of stuff that we still have to determine. However, trust me, because it's going to mean something when we move a little bit further down in the episodes. So just bear with me. I know it feels like I've picked German names, but bear with me, there is a reason. Okay, so let's just run through quickly where we are with the story as a whole and how these changes are going to come to play in the story. Okay, oh, by the way, I apologise for the pronunciation of these names. Okay, so if you're German or Norwegian and I kind of clunk over these words, then please forgive me, I mean no disrespect. Okay. So it's 1943 and Germany's most celebrated and spectacular circus is touring Norway at the instruction of Joseph Terboven, Hitler's man in Norway. Ardal Belmer is the world-famous circus director in charge of the tour, who is postponing his retirement to deliver the show to end all shows. It's a chance in a lifetime for Belmer and an opportunity to end his career with a finale the world will never forget. However, the recent loss of his beloved wife has forced him to question his beliefs. Once a symbol of German perfection, Belmer now thirsts for an end to Nazi tyranny. Upon learning that Norwegian traitor Vidkun Quisling and Joseph Terboven will be attending the finale, he sets about hatching a plan to publicly assassinate them along with hundreds of Nazis watching the show. The story will play out through a series of 8 circus performances with a gruesome and abominable crime to investigate at every circus location. What the audience won't know is that each one of these killings is interlinked and is all about the antagonist protecting their master plan. This is a classic whodunit thriller where the world and its setting is dangerous to outsiders. There are freaks, dangerous animals, it's isolated, oppressive, threatening, and dangerous at its core. The world of the circus also feels impenetrable to outsiders. Outsiders are not welcome. The fact that the circus is constantly moving will do a great job to destabilize not just the hero, but also the audience as well, and help to keep people on their toes. Anyway, with all this sinister going on, are we actually going to let them get away with it? No, of course not. So what we're going to need to do now is introduce the characters on the side for good. And the first one to talk about is the mentor. So who is the mentor? Well, effectively, they are the hero and the audience's guide to the rules of the second act, or the second act being the adventure itself. So in this diagram here, we can see the 3-act structure. Act 1, which is the status quo or the real world. We have Act 2, which is the adventure itself, if you like, the world of the story, which we explored in a previous episode, and also Act 3, which is the resolution and climax. And this is, of course, where it all comes to a head. Now, we're going to cover structure in another video further in the series. However, if you want to understand more about structure, then why not check out the video up here. The mentor is somebody who understands the world of the circus. They also understand the rules and, of course, the dangers. When trying to picture a mentor, think of how the hero will be when they are way past their prime. The mentor has wisdom, but perhaps lacks the innocence and passion that the hero possesses. Importantly, it's the mentor's job to recognize the potential in the hero, even if that potential is not obvious to the hero itself, and classically that should be the case. In our movie, it's the mentor's job to teach the hero the rules of the circus. Okay, so who is our mentor? Well, thanks to those who have commented and made suggestions. I'm just going to read Susan's out here, and you'll be able to see it pop across the bottom. Well, as Susan says, he's the oldest member of the circus. He's retired, but stays with the circus because he has no place else to go. In return for his lodgings, he offers performers advice. I'm going to change it from he's got nowhere else to go. I'm going to change it to he has nowhere else that feels like home. Next to the antagonist, the mentor is the guy who knows most about the world of the circus. I also think he should be lame following some kind of injury, perhaps also as a result of some historic sabotage. I'm going to call him Kurt Muller, and for now I think we have him pretty well summed up. Okay, so the next step is to move on to the hero. Hooray, I hear you say, and I join you with that sentiment, because creating the hero is a really good, fun part of the writing process. Of course he is. They're the star of the whole show. So if you have any comments or suggestions or what you think the hero would be like, then please stick them in the comments section below. We'd love to hear your thoughts. For the free worksheets that accompany this series, please visit www.clickimagination.com or follow the link here. Okay, so now we're on to the big tip at the end. So the tip this week is all about collaboration. Find writers, work with writers, support writers. There is an old adage: if you want to go fast, go on your own. If you want to go far, go with others. Thanks for taking the time to watch this episode, and please show your support by liking and subscribing on the buttons below. We look forward to seeing you in the next episode, where I say we are looking at the hero. Hurrah! Take care. See you next time. You shall not pass. You shall not pass. Now, I need to do well with this. Whatever happens, I want to make sure that it doesn't look as if I've got a daily newspaper sellotaped to my face. We're a mentor. We've got to look professional. Okay, game face. You shall not pass. You shall not pass. Ow! Ah! Oh, God, that stuck to my hair. Ay. Ah! Ah! God!